Coming up next on the 411 Live.
So I went and answered the door and saw these two nice young ladies standing outside the door. They were smiling. They were cordial. I thought they were like soliciting for something.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, I opened the door now because normally, I may have left them out there, but I opened the door. And they said, I'm here to see Chris Hinton. I'm like, oh, I'm Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, oh, well, hey, how you doing, Miss Hinton? Very nice to meet you. Just all smiles, like just pleasant people. Well, I'm here because we want to serve you with some paperwork. So it's in the case of Yolanda Hinton versus Chris Hinton. So they kind of talk about the court document information and kind of read off the title of it or whatever. And then they hand it over to me. And so you've been served. And so, Mr. Hinton, you have a good evening. And so I'm stunned.
Right.
They turn and they walk away. I step back into the house and close the door. And I'm just kind of at the door processing it. And then I remember, well, wait a minute, Yolanda is sitting in there, right? Because I'm like, what is happening right now? So I walk back into our family room where she's still sitting at her desk.
Healing is the resolution. Love is the language. Healing starts with a choice to stand for unity, for compassion, for change. Across our community, every sector is stepping forward. Individuals, faith leaders, educators and educational institutions, athletes, government officials, business leaders, health professionals, law enforcement and fire service, each taking the pledge in their own way, yet united by one purpose. Because when we all choose healing, our community moves, our city breathes, and hope comes alive. Join the movement. Take the pledge at www.the411live.org. Print your pledge. Take a picture holding the I Took the Pledge and post it on your social media page with the hashtag the411live, hashtag I dare you to heal. Now, I dare you to heal.
The 411 Live.
Where you can learn about issues that impact us every day. State of world, 411 Live.
Real people, real talk.
Made to help people in our community in every way. For your girl, 411 Live.
Do you have a perfect marriage? Do you know someone who is in a perfect marriage? Because if you do, give me a call because I'd like to hear about it. Meet them. I've never seen a perfect marriage. I've seen good marriages, but perfect? Well, today we are talking to a couple and we're going to dive deep into a marriage. We're talking about struggles, heartache, close to divorce, and then we're talking about the transformation. It's an incredible story, but it's one that I think will help so many people. Whether you're newly married, thinking about marriage, been married a long time, we all need that refresher, and we all need that example. So as you're thinking about some of the things, some of the pitfalls, some of the areas maybe that you're struggling with, this might be the podcast for you. Hello, I'm Beverly Taylor, and this is the 411 Live, Real People, Real Talk. Today, my guests are Chris and Yolanda Hinton. They have agreed to come, and I have heard their story, and I love that you guys are so transparent, and you are helping and blessing so many other couples, and that's the important thing, too. Yes. So thank you so much for joining us. I am going to, we're going to talk about it and dive deep. But before we do, I just want to invite listeners to go to our website, the411live.org, and look for the pledge, I Dare You to Heal pledge. Click on that and go to the personal pledge and read it. And I am encouraging you to take this pledge. And then there are like 8 other pledges there that go into different professions. So if you're in healthcare, there's one for you. If you're a law enforcement or a firefighter, there's one for you. An athlete, there are different ones. But what these pledges talk about deal with restoration and restorative justice and unity and healing, the important thing. And I think this is a movement that could really take off. I mention all that because Yolanda and Chris's example, to me, they are a living example of this pledge. So let's bring it back and let's dive into your story. So I want to start at the meat of it. That was it around Christmas or something when you got that knock on the door?
Yeah, it was after Christmas. It was actually in January of 2021. And I'll never forget it because it is the week when we had the storming of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And so so that was on January 6th, 2021. Then on January 8th, 2021, we were home. It was a Friday evening, home, and just watching the news and all the fallout from the storming of the Capitol and all the news footage and just how bad it was. You know, it just kind of kept unfolding day after day. And so we're there. We're fine. We're cordial, and just watching the news. Yolanda's working still. It's probably about almost 7 o'clock, but she's at her desk working still. And the news is on, and then there's a doorbell ring. And so I thought it was odd that somebody was coming to our door at that time in the evening, but I didn't think too much of it. So I went and answered the door and saw these 2 nice young ladies standing outside the door. They were smiling. They were cordial. I thought they were like soliciting for something.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, I opened the door now because normally, you know, I may have left them out there, but I opened the door, and they said, I'm here to see Chris Hinton. I'm like, oh, I'm Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, oh, well, hey, how you doing, Miss Hinton? Very nice to meet you. Just all smiles, like just pleasant people. Well, I'm here because we want to serve you with some paperwork. So it's in the case of Yolanda Hinton versus Chris Hinton. So they kind of talk about the court document information and kind of read off the title of it or whatever. And then they hand it over to me. And so you've been served. And so, Mr. Hinton, you have a good evening. And so I'm stunned.
Right.
They turn and they walk away. I step back into the house and close the door. And I'm just kind of at the door processing it. And then I remember, well, wait a minute, Yolanda is sitting in there, right? Because I'm like, what is happening right now? So I walk back into our family room where she's still sitting at her desk. And she's facing the computer.
Doesn't look up.
Doesn't look up. She hears everything. So I walk up to her and I say, you had me served with divorce papers? And she looked over at me and she said, yes. And then turned back to her computer and continued to work.
Wow.
And that was that. And so after that, I remembered that just before there was a ring at the doorbell, she had taken a phone call. And so I didn't think too much of the phone call, but it was a short phone call. And so it clicked for me, oh, she was talking to them, confirming that I was here in order to receive the papers. And so I just sat back in the chair. I was stunned, fuming. But I'm in the chair. She's 4 feet away from me at the desk, and we just kind of sat there the rest of that evening until she decided to pack it all up and then go upstairs.
You didn't say anything.
We didn't talk. We didn't talk.
Wow.
No, that last yes was the last words we spoke that evening. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, Yolanda, what made you do that?
I was just literally at my wit's end. It was affecting me. Our marital problems were affecting me very severely. So it was affecting my mental health. It was affecting my spiritual walk, and I was just tired. I was just at my wit's end. I had been contemplating divorce for years.
For years,
But I was going through spiritual guilt. My kids were young. Chris is a good father. He just wasn't a good husband. So all of these things that I had to work through within myself before I could make that decision. But I had just said that I just didn't believe that God wanted me to live that way.
Mm-hmm.
It was just horrible. We weren't communicating. We were living like roommates. We weren't speaking to each other. The environment was very cold. It was not loving. So that's how I was able to compartmentalize and do my job, look over at him and say yes and keep it moving. Because we had been doing that for years.
When you say for years, do you...
Years.
About how many years?
Oh, it was a long time.
Long time.
I co-signed years.
Mhm.
So we moved into our house where we live now in
2013.
Yep, October 2013. And it was like, so we were having troubles before then, but it was like as soon as we moved into that house, that's when the wheels fell off on our marriage, right? So it was a big thing. We had been talking about moving where we moved to. Like it was a pretty big occasion,
Mm-hmm.
but for whatever reason, the wheels completely fell off on our relationship, and so the tension, the difficulty, the misunderstandings, the distance, it all escalated
Mm-hmm.
once we got into our house.
So when the divorce papers were served, how many years had you been married?
So we are married now 26 years.
Yes.
So that was 21 years we were married.
21
Yeah.
years.
Mhm.
So in those 21 years, were there some good years?
Oh, yes, absolutely. There were some, I would say, there were some good times.
Yes. Some good times.
Years.
Well said.
Years is, yeah, there were some good times, some good moments.
Yeah.
But I think, to really get people to understand how we got to the divorce papers. So Chris and I, both of us had very, very demanding careers. At the time, my husband was working in his career as a software developer, took a lot of time from the family. He would travel. He would leave me, sometimes days with 2 children that are 17 months apart. We don't have a lot of family support, so it's usually just us with the children. So a snowball started to happen. We started being more disconnected. Then resentment sets in. You're gone all the time. You're doing all these trips. I'm not going nowhere. I'm just at home with these kids and doing all the stuff. So it was a snowball effect.
Yeah.
And so by the time we got to Mequon, when we moved, we had built an igloo.
Yeah.
At that point. It was just so much, so many layers, so many different things. So, yeah.
A bigger house, but more space to separate. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Well said. Yeah. And I think we thought, at least I thought, that by making the move, that was going to actually bring us together because we were now doing something together. We
Mhm.
teamed up on this thing and not realizing that it's just added level of stress because of the added level of responsibility, trying to figure
Yeah.
everything out in the community. What are we going to do with the kids? Who are their friends? Like all of that pressure
Right.
for that change. I was naive in thinking that somehow the move was going to just calm the seas a little bit, when the move brings all of this other tension, not quite naturally,
Yeah.
to the equation. And so, yeah, it really was a pivotal point in the health of our marriage. It went from not good to just truly terrible.
Were you arguing or just silence or both?
He's the master of silence. So, and I say things, or I would blow up.
Yeah.
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 And then, if he would try to come and, try to start talking to me, he just couldn't get through because I'm mad. I have these walls and I just didn't want to hear anything.
Right.
So it was just really, really bad, really, really bad. And the crazy thing is, at this point, we're helping other people. Like, as a nurse, I'm a professional. I help people resolve conflict all day long. But I couldn't do it for myself. And so, I'm praying, I'm asking God to help me. But, as I mentioned, before, I wasn't doing the things to keep myself at a good spiritual point. I wasn't really connected with God like I should have been. I thought I was, but I wasn't. And so that, for me, I feel like that's the part that I played in the terrible. I know for me, now that we are on this healing journey, what is pivotal is my own, making sure, being intentful about my own spiritual growth, and making sure that I do everything that I need to do to stay fed and to stay spirit-filled.
Very good. We're going to take a break, but you said something that let's see if I can find it. In this pledge that we're talking about, I dare you to heal. One of the things it says in here is, I will love myself as a being created in the image and likeness of God. I honor my own limits and tend my own wounds, knowing that self-care is not selfish, but the wellspring from which all other love flows. I will normalize therapy, reflection, rest, and worship, celebrating every step I take toward wholeness. In loving myself, I become a stronger vessel for loving my neighbors. That's kind of what you were saying.
Yes.
Well said.
Yes.
And you were not loving yourself.
I was not loving myself, and more so, Bev, I stopped looking for him to be a part of my growth. My growth is my growth. That is apart from him. Yes, we are a couple. We are married. But I have a responsibility, and I have to do the things that I need to do for myself. And so once I made that pivot to stop focusing on him, stop waiting for him to change or do things, amazing. And I want to tell women, he's not different. He didn't do nothing. He still do the same stuff that irritated me before.
But you are.
Yes.
I think there's some.
No.
Look,
All right.
I'm sorry, but no.
We're going to take a break. You are listening to the 411 Live. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I feel that I'm not getting the attention that I need, and it's a lot built up in my chest. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
Welcome back to the 411 Live. I am talking with Yolanda and Chris Hinton, and we're talking about marriage, and we're in the brokenness of the marriage. Just letting you know, they're still together. and they're
Yes.
healing.
Yes.
But this part is so pivotal and so important. And you were talking about the self-care part of it.
Yes.
And I remember somebody telling me, I won't say who it was, but somebody, there was a married couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to the female, and she was complaining, and she was saying, he doesn't make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, is he supposed to make you
Yes.
happy?
Yes.
So that was that whole frame of her thinking, you have to make me happy. But what are you doing for yourself? So that's a important point, I guess,
Yeah.
that I want to say.
I like that you said that. I just read something recently about that. A lot of us, we have been sold, a bad bill of goods, if you will, as far as marriage and what our expectations are supposed to be. And I think that's a fallacy. We think that, God created marriage just to make us happy, when in truth, He created marriage to show each person themselves. And so that's hard when you really think about that and the weight of that. And so it is Chris's job to show me myself and show me the areas where I need to grow to be more Christ-like, and vice versa. And so that is not always happy.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I had to retrain my mind to think as well. And like I said, once I made that pivot, it has just been really, really a blessing in my marriage. I don't get upset about certain things. I'm not looking for him to, always make me happy or fulfill all of that, because happiness comes from within. When you do the self-care, when you reassess and you align your expectations with God's will for you, then you just see things totally different. I just was not looking at things the way that I was supposed to, and it was just causing me a lot of grief that I was blaming him for.
Right. And then in scripture, something like iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So did you like her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what's odd about our marriage, and it has been odd about our relationship. Like, we like each other.
Mhm.
Like, we just struggle with maintaining healthy communication with one another.
Yeah.
Right. And so we would
And
fall
behaviors.
and so therefore behavior. So we would fall into just like pettiness with one another, just, being dismissive. I would be dismissive of concerns she would raise. I would become frustrated and easily agitated, which the Bible says love is not easily irritated, but I would be irritated. She would be irritated. And so, when we would have these issues, we just could not find our way out of those patterns,
Yeah.
right? And so we would apologize, but as soon as the next thing came up, we would be right
Right
back into those modes of operating emotionally, spiritually, right? And so the thing that I realized that was a problem, I didn't realize it early on. She had to tell me, and then I had to like really work through it. Is we would be, and it would be me primarily, we would be fine with distance,
Mhm.
right? Like you said, bigger house, more space to separate. And I had gotten into this mode where if she was just gonna be mean and upset, then I'm cool with just being here while she's there,
Mhm.
right? And so what really made our relationship terrible was me embracing distance in the household.
That's what led for me choosing to divorce. I just really didn't think that he liked me anymore. And when he said he did, I was like, are you sure?
Really?
Like, how can you treat somebody like this that you say you like or you say you love? So, yeah, it was just very odd. I would also like to add, too, that Chris and I both come from a level of trauma and dysfunction.
Oh, yes.
I was going to ask
Oh,
you,
yeah.
how
Absolutely.
did
Oh,
those
yeah.
relationships
Oh,
filter in?
yes.
And so it has been, I like to say, an underlying smolder, if you will, within our relationships. But as we are now going through our healing, and each of us are working on ourselves, we had to deal with those issues as well. And so that has been pivotal too for us in our relationship.
Yeah.
Because you think, I'll just speak for myself. You think, okay, I'm out of this I'm out of this trauma. I'm away from these people. Put my head down. I'll do my career. I'll check all the boxes, and then you think you're good, but you're not.
No.
Yeah.
That is crushing.
Right. Right. And that brings me back to the pledge again. It's like it says, I dare to tend the wound.
Yes.
When harm is done, I will stand firm for what is right without stripping away another's dignity. I will meet opposition with compassion, seeking not to destroy, but to transform, turning conflict into understanding, enemies into collaborators in the work of healing.
Yeah. Yeah. So important. And we just didn't do that. And didn't start doing that until recently, until after, the situation where she served me with the divorce papers. And that's just God's grace kind of working in our situation. But yeah, we just did not handle each other compassionately. And I certainly didn't. And I thought I was. I thought because I was not arguing back with her, not matching her hostile energy, and just giving her time and space, I thought that was being compassionate. But I'm the husband. I'm the leader, right? And so if there's going to be any reconciliation around things, it requires me to take the initiative to bring her back into relationship with me, right? I'm waiting for her to come back around after she's done feeling her feelings to just kind of work the reconciliation. And so I just had a total misunderstanding on what compassion looked like in a relationship.
Because you hadn't seen it.
Because I hadn't seen it. Like, we had no models for functional marriages, right? My parents were married for 25 years, and it was the most dysfunctional marriage that you can probably think of. And I say that with love and honor to them both.
Yeah.
But their marriage was super dysfunctional. Our household, our upbringing was super dysfunctional. And so I thought that because I was not behaving the way in which I saw them behave in our marriage, that I was healthy. And I was functional in my relationship with my wife.
Right.
And it just turned out to be so far from it. Yeah.
Because you guys weren't communicating.
No.
You were talking. If you talked, you're talking past each other, right?
We talk to each other. Now that I look back, we talk to each other like we talk to our coworkers. That's how it's like we never turned work off. We just acted the same. We had the same behaviors in the house.
Yeah.
What are you responsible for? We checkpoint with each other, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only time we talked about feelings was when she would be mad, right? If things were not hostile, then we never engaged on feelings or emotions. How are you doing? What's going on? Like, we just didn't engage on an emotional level with one another intimately, right? Setting sex aside, but intimately, just talking through emotions, fears, concerns, worries, that sort of thing. We didn't do it. And so, and that was on me, right? I thought it was when I was asked, how are you doing? How was your day? Like, I'm thinking I'm talking right. Nope. And so, so we were just missing each other so much.
Right.
We weren't dating. We weren't doing anything. It was just the work, our jobs, and the kids. And so, women need to feel a certain kind of way.
Yeah, you guys were going through the motion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me just I'm going to stop it here because we're out of time.
Okay.
But you guys are going to stay here. We're going to do a part 2 and get more into that restoration, that healing, and how you're helping others. But like I said, you are a living example of the I Dare You to Heal pledge. So I'm so glad that you are willing to disclose a lot of the things. I want one word answers. Describe your marriage back then and describe one word to describe it now.
Ungodly.
Back then. And now?
Restored.
Okay. Back then?
Terrible.
Terrible. Now?
Improving.
Improving. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you both for this part 1 of this discussion. And I look forward to part 2. And thank you for joining us for another episode. Remember the I Dare You to Heal pledge. You can find it at our website, the411live.org. Check it out. Take the pledge. This community can be transformed if everybody is thinking in this way. I truly believe that. Until next time, I'm Beverly Taylor. This is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. If you would like to check out past episodes, there are many ways. Go to your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Instagram. Like and watch us on Facebook. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, go to our website, the411live.org.